Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 1-0 show, aka the home of football vibes, and we return for another weekend. There was no 1-0 show last week due to some other reasons, but I'm bringing you a very special show this week, so you're not going to want to miss it out. We've got the obvious Fruities 5 things that caught my eye from last weekend's Premier League fixtures, and then because it is international break this weekend, the break that no one really cares for until we get to the big tournaments, it's going to be a bit of a shorter one. So we've got the Fruities 5 to get through, and then we've also got a very big talking point. Is Mo Salah the best player in the world right now? While I roll the intro, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to think, who is your best player right now in the Premier League? Is it Ronaldo? Is it not in the Premier League, in the world? Is it Messi? Is it Lewandowski? Is it Mbappe? While the intro rolls, ladies and gentlemen, think of it, because it's got to be a good one. Let's get it. One. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we're on for another 1-0 show. And if you are new to the channel, new to the show, please make sure to like and subscribe. It actually does help with the channel. It helps it grow. You know, near the end of the year, can we hit the 600 subs? I want to hit 500 subs at least. So work your magic, you know. Fruities 5, we'll get straight into it. Liverpool versus City. Oh my goodness. I'm a United fan, which if you're a recurring friend of the channel, you know. Liverpool City, I made sure to get up for, made sure to watch it because these two in the last 4 years have put on belters week in, week out. You know, Liverpool on one hand, first half, people are saying, okay, they maybe got lucky to go in to go into the half how they did. You know, City were probably by far the best team in the first half, but at the same time, Liverpool are that good team where they're not going to they're not going to let you be too good, if you know what I mean. You know, usually a team, if they're not playing well and the other team's playing very well, we could see a couple goals go in and it could be lights out by halftime. But Liverpool, the team that we know they all are good enough to go, okay, our best isn't still got to cut it, and our worst is still going to be half decent. So City, on the other hand, they're a team that, and I think it could almost show where these two teams are at and where the Premier League's at in a whole. Because even though I had Liverpool fourth, and even though I said Chelsea is the team to beat, City is still obviously there, and Man United can even win the league. I think I've said multiple times that Liverpool will thrive under the situation they're in because they're being disrespected to an extent, yes, but they haven't brought in any new signings. So they haven't had that fascination about them that, oh my goodness. Now that Mo Salah is gaining all this attention once again, maybe that could be their sort of thing to shine. But Liverpool will thrive under the pressure or lack of that they might have of, okay, that's fine. Don't think we're going to win the league. Let's chill. They are such a world-class team still. Okay, last week maybe it goes under wraps of what they actually achieved with all the players that they were missing. You know, so there is that in a sense as well. Focusing on the game though, Mo Salah, will touch on him obviously later on in the video, so tune in for that. Phil Foden from Man City, baller. He tore Milner a new, if you know what I mean. Phil Foden was unbelievable, and I think, and I thought of it a while ago, I think Foden passes that. He easily passes the Greenwood Saka conversation. I think Foden deserves to be up there in the Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland conversation. I think those three players are a class above the rest. Greenwood and Saka in their own right, I think unbelievable ballers as well. But I think Foden's unbelievable. I think Kevin De Bruyne's could slowly start to get into form. He obviously scored a nice goal, but Liverpool defending was interesting, and they conceded 3 to Brentford. They conceded 2 conceding 2 to City isn't like, oh my gosh, your defense is terrible, but they were not great in patches. I know Trent Alexander-Arnold not being there does shake things up a bit, but they're defending as a whole team because your first line of defense is your attack. So I think their midfield got battered by City in the first half especially, and I think they would just allow them too many free balls and too many free passes into their passing lanes, and the Liverpool defense just didn't really know what to do. And having Milner on the right didn't also really help, especially when you're coming up against someone with the likes of Phil Foden. So I think in that sense, Liverpool's defense maybe is not as good as what people are saying, or as good as it was, because concede 3 against Brentford, against City it was okay. Alisson, world-class goalkeeper once again, brilliant player. And I think Man City, Liverpool overall just belting game. For a neutral fan, for a fan of a top 4 club, it's a perfect result. 2-2 draw. I think Liverpool definitely walk away happy with it, because considering the way they played in patches. Not saying they were bad, but considering the way they played in patches, and especially City going to Anfield and going down 1-0 and then down 2-1, I think they'd be very happy with the result. Now we move to sort of the other side of the spectrum, and we go to the other side of Manchester. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. If you caught my stream, I was streaming the Man United Everton game, which I'm going to be doing a bit more regularly. So if you want to tune in for those, I'm not an Ole hater. Okay, I'm not one of these who's going to be so reactionary on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. No matter what he does, get him out. I'll give him the fair shot. Okay. I also realize what he's sort of done. The team that we had 3 years ago, he's changed it completely. With that comes pressure, and you look at managers who can hold that pressure. You look at a Pep Guardiola. You look at a Klopp even. You look at what he experienced last season. You look at these dominating people and characters. Ole doesn't strike you as one. And I mentioned it, I think, 2 weeks ago in the 1-0 show. Ole was never a huge goal celebrator when we scored. This season, he's celebrating goals. So it could almost be like okay, damn, we've got responsibility now. We've got people watching us because we're with prime time players. Any team with Ronaldo in it and Pogba, you've got some of the biggest names in football. Okay, so people are going to be watching, and people are going to praise on your downfall. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think it has to be. He's not the man, and I think it was a common knowledge to all United fans. Ole is not the man to win a Premier League title or a Champions League title at Manchester United. Who is a championship coach? Two people that don't have a job: Zinedine Zidane and Antonio Conte. Any of those two, I'd take. I think this team is perfect for Zidane. I mean, he's already got the likes of Ronaldo and Varane, who we had. I think the Bruno Fernandes type player is someone that Zidane can work quite well with. I think even the likes of Sancho and Greenwood, he can almost replicate maybe the Bale, Benzema, Ronaldo front three, especially once Rashford comes back. And I think I'd happily take Conte as well, obviously, but I think maybe Conte might take a little bit more time for United to adjust to. That's my only concern. But unfortunately, I don't think Ole will get sacked anytime soon, unless we've got a very, very difficult next 10 fixtures. Unless something goes terribly, terribly wrong and we lose all 6 of those games and we lose them comfortably, then I think he's gone, which honestly, I kind of want to see. But it's a weird scenario because you want to win, but then if you win, he stays. You don't want to lose because then I still think we have a possibility of winning the Premier League because it's still very early on in the season. But the thing is, if we keep on winning, he stays. If we keep on losing, we become less likely to do such. So it's a very interesting thing there. Who do you think will take over Ole if he does get sacked? And how soon would you sack him? How soon would you sack him? And I've got a couple of stuff on Man United to touch on in the next couple of weeks with how they play and that sort of thing. Next up, we've got Ranieri is back in the Premier League. Now, this is something that no one expected to see, to be honest with you. Something that no one really thought to see. I was playing FIFA 22 with the boys, and they got sent in that the Watford manager's been sacked. And it was like, damn, poor guy, bit unlucky. I can't lie. I didn't know the whole world about him, but I knew that, he got them promoted, obviously. Watford were doing okay for a newly promoted team this season. They were had some good results. A disappointing loss to Leeds. They just didn't play well, but I think maybe in their eyes, if you've got Ranieri who's on the table, ready to come in, maybe you do it because we've seen what he's done in the Premier League with Leicester City. So I think at the end of the day, it was a pretty interesting one, but I'm going to go out and say Ranieri is sacked before round 22. That's my hot take. Ranieri is sacked from Watford Football Club before round 22. I don't know. Watford have a history of doing it, and I don't think Ranieri. Once he had his Leicester campaign, he was good. Okay, he went to France. He didn't do that well. I've had to do my research for this. Went over to Italy and did good. Okay, maybe that Leicester season and career was one off. Can he repeat not a Premier League title with Watford, but can he repeat sort of growth up the table with Watford? I'm not sure. They've got some good players. Ismail Sarr, very good player. How they still have him, I don't know. But I'm hoping Ranieri stays. I think he's a cool character to have in the Premier League. But I say it again, he's sacked before round 22. I'll leave it at that. Next up, we've got have Wolves solved the goal issue? They obviously lacked to score goals before the weekend, and then they brought in the Korean man, Kang Wee Chan. Sorry, I probably butchered it, but they brought in the Korean striker, scores 2, and he was balling out. Looks like a very good player, and it's good to see another Asian player in the Premier League. Obviously, Heung-min Son's there, but another Asian player in the Premier League, where Premier League clubs are maybe a bit too scared to touch, a bit too afraid, they'll go for the normal other European countries, go by your Brazilian strikers, your Italian strikers. Asian countries don't really get touched, so it's good to see. Next up, we'll finish on a bit of a boring note. It's time for Burnley and Norwich to go. I hate it. I know Dyche might be furious if you get that, then you're a G. But yeah, Burnley, Norwich, you've had your time. Yeah, and Norwich, I know they just came up, but just go. Burnley, especially, just go. Just that's it. Now we're going to move on to the very juicy topic of the week, the thumbnail and the title of the 1-0 show. Why Mo Salah is the best player in the world right now. The date is the 6th of October, aka Mo Salah is he the best player in the world day. I've got some stats for you. I know it's very early on in the season, but 7 appearances for Mo Salah, 6 goals, 3 assists. We'll compare it to some of the other top players in the world, your Ronaldo's. 4 appearances. I know this is for league competition, so not Champions League and all that. 4 appearances for Ronaldo, 3 goals. Messi, donuts all across the board. Obviously, he's had appearances, but no goals, no assists. And like I said, talking in league competition, Lewandowski in the Bundesliga, he's someone whose name gets thrown up. Probably should have won the Ballon d'Or last year, but they just didn't do it. 7 appearances, 7 goals, 1 assist. So Lewandowski's got to have his name up there. But because he's not really playing in a as competitive league as the Premier League, his name doesn't really get thrown around. We focused on attackers because it's easier to look at goals and assist stats. But you've also got the likes of N'Golo Kante, who maybe hasn't been up to scratch in recent form, but he's been very solid as well, and his name deserves to be mentioning up in those sort of ranks. You could have maybe a Romelu Lukaku in there also, Kevin De Bruyne. But I just go back to the question right now, and I think it could be the easiest way. It's not an easy answer. Who is the best player right now in the world? 10 minutes in a game, you've got the second half. It's you're 1-0 down at half time. Second half, okay, 1-0 FC. We've got 5 players to bring on. We've got Ronaldo, Messi, Salah, Lewandowski, Kevin De Bruyne. Okay, and I'll choose attackers. I think N'Golo Kante is world class in his own right, and Virgil van Dijk, those sorts of players. As of right now, you're saying right now, tomorrow, I'm probably choosing Mo Salah. I think that I've never, I wouldn't say I've been a Salah hater, but I've never really gone on board of, okay, Mane is better. I think the Mane is better than Salah, which Liverpool fans admitted you were saying at one point, because I think it just became cool not to like the best player, that sort of thing. I think it was just cool not to like the big dog. Mane is not better than Salah. Mane needs Salah more than Salah needs Mane. Okay, Mane is gun, unbelievable baller. Do not get me wrong, but Salah is the man. Salah is the man in that Liverpool team. There's Virgil van Dijk as well. Salah is the man. Salah had an incredible season last season, also scoring goals for fun. Salah's on track to probably go win another Golden Boot this season. When you look at the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo's in the league, Lukaku's in the league, Jackie Grealish, Harry Kane, Gabriel Jesus. There's all these world-class attackers. But Salah is probably in the box seat to once again win it from wide positions. I know he comes in a lot and does like to attack through the middle at times when he picks it up, but he's just undefendable. It's really, really difficult to defend him. And I think that Man City game, we'll look back in about 4 or 5 years and go, this game, I think this game just turned everyone and go, okay, he's a baller. I know I was watching, I go, damn, Salah's bloody good, man. I go, the things I do for Mo Salah in my team, don't even want to say what I do. But Salah is, look, you can talk about or maybe we're just living in the moment, prisoners of the moment, possibly. But I think Salah definitely deserves his praise as one of the best players in the world. There's always the Hazard and Mo Salah conversation that comes up. Who's going to have and who's had a better Premier League career? I think Mo Salah's still got 3 years max of world-class football in the Premier League. And I think he can keep on doing that. And I don't see him dropping off. Hazard, unbelievable player. But I feel like Salah can take it to next level. He's only getting better. That's my concern. As a United fan, that's my concern. Salah's only getting better. So I'm going to go out and say that Salah, as of right now, is the best player in the world. On current form, I don't think anyone beats him. I know Ronaldo's been doing excellent. But I think Ronaldo, he hasn't, against Villarreal in the Champions League, he sort of disappeared, but he scored the last-minute winning goal, okay? But I think Salah is not going to disappear. What he did to the Man City defense for his goal was unbelievable. So I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Who do you think is the best player right now in the world? Throw me your reasonings, throw me all of that business, because I think Salah, as an attacker, he's exactly what you want. And I think he walks into any team in the world, I think he possibly even walks into that PSG front three and takes over Neymar's position. I personally would. So I think even if you just put it as that, he walks into any team. So Mo Salah, is he the best player in the world? My personal opinion, as of right now, is yes. It could change in 15 weeks' time. I'm saying right now, based on form, based on productivity, based on what he's been able to produce for his team, I think Mo Salah takes a cake. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap us up for another 1-0 show. And like I said, it's going to be a shorter one because it is international football, which sucks. But we're here for a good time, not a long time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. I'm Costa. This is 1-0. If you did enjoy, please make sure to like, subscribe, do the business, share with your friends, follow the Instagram _1-0. I'll be streaming sometimes. I'll be doing a lot of business. More content coming out very soon.